Hello, so let's try to understand what is data science and let's try to define what is data science in few words. So we can say that data science is a science which uses computer science, statistics, machine learning to collect, clean, integrate, analyze, visualize and interact with the data to create the data products. Basically, we do a lot of things related to predictions, and we also try to describe the data, some summary of the data, what the data is telling about, some kind of story, and most of the time we try to do some kind of predictive analytics, which is trying to predict something for the future, or predict something which is not known, or predict some group or some classification. So that we will discuss later, but this is a definition which is being used. And let's see some visual definition, which it's saying like it's the intersection. You need some technology skills like programming. You also need some basic maths and statistics knowledge, and you also need some business domain knowledge. Like if you are a data scientist in in banking, then you should have some knowledge of bank domain. If you are a data scientist in finance, then you should have a knowledge in finance domain. So depends on the business domain, you should have the knowledge of that domain. Other than that, you should have a knowledge of programming, and you should have a knowledge of maths and statistics and basics of some linear algebra and all those things. So you should be good in maths and in technology skills and business expertise. So that is the intersection of data science. If you see that here is also machine learning, which is a kind of intersection between this technology and the maths, because in machine learning we are using a lot of algorithms which are written, which are dependent completely on maths, but they are written on some language like R and Python. And so these languages, you need to know some kind of coding and programming. So if you see what are the skills needed to be a data scientist, then I already told that this is the statistics and maths you need. The different techniques which are used on the data are regression, classification, clustering, and there are time series models. So all these kinds of stuff is because of this statistics and maths. So statistics and math should be good of so that you are good in data science. Second thing part is the programming, which you should be good enough to write some code, which is the software kind of development part. And the third part is the business experience, which I already told that depends on the company on which with which you are working. So you should have some kind of business domain knowledge. Other than that is the personal skills like leadership and adaptability. So these are the things which is required for a data scientist. And so how we would say that what is a data scientist? So you can say that data scientist is a scientist who works with the data. They look for the meaning and knowledge in the data, and they try to explain that what the data is trying to tell. They also try to do a lot of analysis, and they also try to do kind of predictions analysis. So a lot of things are done in data science. So let's try to understand what's the difference between a data analyst and a data scientist. So basically a data analyst tries to do the analysis in the data. They hardly do any kind of predictive analytics. In data scientist, if you see these four blocks, in the analyst involves these two parts. So you have business administration, you should have business knowledge. So you must have heard that analyst can be of different types, like marketing analyst, financial analyst. So these kind of analyst, business analyst also you have. So these are the analysts which are domain specific. So financial analyst will be someone who is working with a finance department, finance things. Marketing analyst would be something who is more related towards the marketing. and business analyst will be more related towards increasing the business. So but data scientist is only one, so who tries to do all kind of stuff with the data, starting from the data exploration, data insights finding and data analysis, and then going ahead towards the advanced algorithms which are math based, and then the machine learning algorithms, and then finally wrap all these kinds of algorithms and analysis and everything into a product which is called a data product. So this is all which a data scientist needs to do, starting from the data, loading up the data and the data exploration till the data product creation. So this is all what the data scientists do. Basically, data scientist should have knowledge of what the data is trying to tell, and what are the machine learning algorithms are doing in this. So these two parts are very essential, and once the model is being created, that is actually given to the product engineering team, where they can create the model into the production. So thanks for watching this video. Hi, so in this video I will try to explain you what are the types of data science work. So let's take all these types. So first is investigating, and the second is predicting, and the third is optimizing. So in investigation, what you basically do, you get the data, you aggregate the data, and you inspect the data to get some kind of basic idea on what is currently happening in the data. In the predictions, what you do, you predict about the future, what is going to happen in the future. And in optimizing, what you do, you take the data and you try to find what is the best set of actions that should happen, so that you get the best return on the metric which you are trying to optimize. So let's take an examples of each of these types. First one is investigating. This is something like you have some kind of data, and then you ask, you try to get the answers to some direct questions. So if you have two products which is selling better, this is one kind of question which you can investigate in the data. You can do some kind of analysis in the data, and you get the answers to these kind of questions. So how many people are buying both? So this is also one question which you can just do an analysis, and you get the answers to this question. And the second question is, how frequently do the customers order? This kind of frequency of customers buying, and how are the sales changing each month? So this is all kind of questions you can just do analysis from the data, and you get the answers. You do not require any kind of mathematics and lot of codes to do all this kind of stuff. Second is the predictions, which you require some mathematical modeling, you require some maths, and you require a little bit of coding. Not too much, but you do require a little bit of coding to understand, and a little bit of maths to understand what is going behind this machine learning models. So basically in predictions, you do something like this. How likely is the customer going to come back? This is something you would like to tell, that the customer is going to come back after 3 days or 2 days or 4 days. This is kind of predictions based on the past behavior of the user. So how will a customer respond to a sale? That you are doing some kind of campaign, or you're doing some kind of offer, or you're doing some kind of advertisement, whether the customer is going to accept that offer or not. So this is kind of predictions. You are telling that the customer will not accept, or the customer will accept the offer. Third example is revenue going to increase over the time? The answers given by the model would be that no, the revenue will not increase, or it will say yes, the revenue will increase. So this is you have different kind of problems. One is the regression, where you tell about some numerical values which you want to predict, and the second is the classification, where you have some 2 groups or 3 groups, and you try to classify whether the revenue is going to increase, yes or no. So this is kind of classification problem. So how will a customer respond to a sale? Whether he will respond yes or no, or whether he will accept or will not accept. So this is kind of classification. So how likely is the customer going to come back? Whether he will come back or not. So this is also again yes or no type of question, which is saying classification. Again, say you want to predict something like what would be the price of this house. So then you are going to tell that this many dollars will be the price of this house. Then that is not a classification problem, but that is a regression problem, where you are trying to predict some continuous values. because the value of the house will not be like some class like yes and no, but it will be some values, and it can be ranging from some 0 to infinity, whatever it can be. So third is optimizing. So in optimizing, the questions are like this: how much inventory should be held, when should you reorder, which product should you recommend to the website visitor for the most profit. So this kind of problem is like recommendation engines. So this is a separate kind of problem which you handle in data science. So there are a lot of problems which you do in data science. So these are the types of work which I am trying to explain. The next is the what price should you set for a product, when should it go on the sale. So if you have a new product in the company and you want to decide that at what price you should set, so you will try to optimize that the price should be something low or something high, so that you get more and more customers for that. And also you try to figure it out what time should it be sent for. Means which time, means like maybe you have some holidays or maybe you have some festival, at what time you should start selling that product. So this is kind of an optimization problem where you try to optimize some kind of return metric where you are getting benefited. So the metrics which you try to optimize depends on the problems. So these are the hardest problems which you find in the data science, and they also directly provide the most profit. So this is in layman language, you try to understand that these kind of problems happen. So investigation is the easiest thing, and then predictions and then optimization is the hardest thing which you do in the data science. So thanks for watching this video. Hi, so let's try to understand the data science by an example. Let's take an example of e-commerce websites which collects the data of consumer when they purchase any products from the website. So basically, when you try to purchase any product from, say, company like Flipkart or Amazon, they get the information that which product you need, at which location do you need to the product to be delivered, and they know all the informations like about your past orders, and they also know that how frequently you have bought from their websites. They also know that how recently you have bought in the near past. So from all these factors, they understand the customer, that what kind of customer it is, and then they draw a patterns and then recommends the right product to the right customer at the right time. So depends on their recency and frequency and the monetary aspect of the customer, like how recently the customer has bought and how frequently the customer buys, and how much the capability the customer has to purchase the products. So this is one aspect of recommending the products. Also there are other aspects depending on the type of recommendation we are trying to do. So this is just an example that the website collects the data like this: location of the product delivery, the purchasing history, and the past browsing history of the user. So they understand that in which products the customer may be interested in. So there can be a lot of different kinds of problems in the recommendations, but that is not that is not we are going to discuss right now. But basically we are getting an idea that data which we collect, after that there is a process which is called a data analysis. You do the analysis on that, and then you may be fitting some kind of prediction models, and you can do other kinds of you can create a recommendation engines and something like that, which is done in data science. So basically, if you see an example of this is, let's take this example. If you see that this is an Amazon website and it is written that related to items you have viewed, you see that it's saying you have viewed. That means the certain customer who has opened this browser has seen some kitchen items in the past. So they get this data and they analyze, and the website know that you may be interested in these kind of items. So based on the data which they collect from you while you are browsing their website, they get an idea of what to recommend to you. Next example is this is which is saying that recommended for you, and it is saying that Amazon.com has new recommendations for you based on the items you have purchased. So as I already told you that there are many aspects, many variables which can account for different kind of recommendations. So but basically these parameters are very important, which is recency and the frequency parameter of the user, but that is not required right now. But if you see that they have the data of what the user has browsed in the past, and how many times he has browsed, and how many times he has purchased a certain product. So based on all those kinds of data, certain models, certain predictive analytics can be done to do this kind of recommendations. So which is saying that these books are kind of recommendations to the person who is browsing this Amazon website. So this is one of the example which is trying to give you an idea that what is kind of data which the e-commerce websites they get an idea that what kind of customer or user is, and what products we can recommend, so that they can the website can enhance their profit, and also the users get this benefit that they are being recommended for a good product, and they get to know that whenever new product is coming, and whenever the product is in budget of the user. So thanks for watching this video. Hello. So in this video I will explain you one more example of data science, where we try to use the data science. So let's take an example of an e-commerce company which is selling the brownies online, and they want to improve their marketing. So basically they have two types of customers. One is a consumer, a single user who is ordering for friends and family, and the second is the business or the big company, which is a group of pupils, you can say. So definitely the company would like to target these two customers differently, but could not consistently tell if a customer was a business or consumer. That means they don't have any ideas how they can figure it out, that whether the user who is ordering brownie is a consumer or does it belongs to a business. So what they do is they use the data science approach. They collect the data from the customer, and then they try to predict from that text whether the customer is a business customer, or whether the customer is a single user consumer customer. So they want to classify these two customers into two categories. One is the consumer category, and the second is business category. So the input would be the text of the user who is ordering an online brownie. So what they would do, they fit some machine learning model, and then they will predict whether the given user is a business user or business customer, or whether the user is a consumer who is ordering for the brownies. So what they will do is they will collect the text data. So text data would be something like this: thank you, all your hard work, and it is truly appreciated by the management team. So this is clearly distinguishable with the second text, if you see, which is saying congratulations and best of luck on your new job. We are very proud of you and love mom. So if you see some of the text like love mom is an indicator of that it belongs to some family and friends, and it does not belong to some company. Whereas in the first text, if you see, it is the management. So these kind of management team, these kind of words is an indicator of company. So basically when we fit the model, the input is this text, and then the machine learning model tries to figure it out from this text whether this text is from a consumer or whether this text is from the business category. So first one, if the model would predict that this is the probability of being a business customer is 98.9%. This is what the model is going to predict after being trained from this text data. in the next message, when any customer would do something like in the next message, it would be the probability of being a business customer will be 0 point would be around 1.9%. That means 98% is the probability of being a consumer category, that is a single user who is ordering for friends and family. So this is how any company can do classification of their customers into two categories by using text data. So this is just one example, but lot of so big companies have lot of text data, and in those text data they try to find out what kind of problems they can solve from this text data, and then they try to convert this text data, do the pre-processing, and then they fit some kind of machine learning model to do the predictions whether this observation belongs to a business category or whether this is belonging to a consumer category. This is just one example. There can be n number of problems where you can do the same kind of predictive analytics using the text data. So thanks for watching this video. Hi, let's try to understand the data science for with some another example, that is Google self-driving car. You might have heard that this is a smart driverless car. It doesn't have any driver in it, and it travels, it drives the car. It is driven by the automated algorithms. So these algorithms are made in the field which is called machine learning, and more specialized area which is called deep learning. So you can say inside the data science we have machine learning, and then inside machine learning we have this deep learning, which all of these includes machine learning and deep learning includes algorithms which is called machine learning algorithms. Basically deep learning involves all the algorithms which are related to neural networks. So we are not going into the details of all these kind of algorithms, but we should understand that this is also a part of data science, where we try to do some kind of predictive analytics and some kind of machine learning algorithms to automate some processes. So let's try to understand this problem where the car has to travel by itself in the traffic. So how does it do it? It travels. So it collects the data from the environment through the sensor. So it collects the data like the position of the other objects, and this data is collected through the sensors which is already in the car. So it collects all these kind of data of the objects, nearby objects, whether they are moving towards the car or whether the objects are moving away from the car. So they get an idea about all these things. So basically you get the XYZ location of the objects, their angular and the linear velocities, and the different physics parameters you have in this. So all kind of using this physics parameters, they try to fit some machine learning and this deep learning algorithms to train the model to, so that the car the model learns to drive itself in a traffic. So it takes decisions like when to speed up, when to speed down, when to overtake, and when to turn. So all these decisions are being taken after by the model, which is being trained by the parameters, which is the data which is collected from the sensors. So Google uses these all kind of advanced machine learning concepts like deep learning, which is a kind of neural network for this problem. So this is one of the example which is a more advanced thing which we learn in the later concepts of the data science. So this is one of the part of the machine learning and deep learning. So thanks for watching this video.